Right now at 5, a sniper whose bullet killed a child in a standoff in March of last year will not be facing any charges.
And we've got a wet start out there for our work week ahead. Not everybody getting in on the rain yet, but it will overspread the area. We'll take a look at that forecast out the door coming up.
Plus, the people of Boone County, Missouri say goodbye to a landmark bridge that was over 60 years old.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got a pretty decent start out there this morning. Not a bad day. We've got cloudy skies, or at least mostly cloudy skies. Then we've got some rain on the way. Our camera 7th and range line not showing any of that rain yet, but it is on the way. And same from the MoDOT camera at 20th and range line, at least in Joplin, rain not falling. Where is the rain falling? Well, mostly in southeast Kansas, just to the east of Chanute, and then if you look off to the west of our immediate area, more showers and even a couple of thunderstorms on the way in. So here's a broader view of all of this activity. So we'll have a cloudy day ahead of us. We'll also have scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now the good news is we're not anticipating any severe weather out of any of this. Just some much needed rainfall across the area with a few thunder boomers, as my dad would call them, as we head through the day. So we'll get pauses on some of this activity, but we'll otherwise see scattered shower storms throughout the majority of our Monday. Kids getting off to school, grab that umbrella. Scattered storms start to overspread more of southeast Kansas early this morning. We're talking low 60s. Winds will shift out of the northwest later, and we'll have more scattered showers and thunderstorms, mid-70s across most of the region by the time that bus brings them home. So if it's not raining where you are this morning, you're going to want to send them with the umbrella anyway. Scattered showers and thunderstorms again will continue to overspread the area through the morning hours, and we're going to go right around mid-70s by late morning. We'll talk about how long this rain will last and what this little front that's coming through will do to our temperatures this week in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, authorities in Montgomery County investigate an attempted homicide in Wayside, Kansas. The attempted homicide happened on September 9th around 7:30 p.m. Upon arrival, deputies located a male victim that had critical injuries, and the suspect was no longer on scene. The suspect was later located and taken into custody without further incident. Further details will be revealed at a later time as the investigation is currently ongoing. And the man who is known as the BTK killer, aka Dennis Rader, might have a victim who was last seen in southeast Kansas. The serial killer's past is once again haunting not only the state of Kansas, but Oklahoma and Missouri as well. And one of the victims may hit closer to home than we thought. Dennis Rader, who is no stranger to southeast Kansas, was born in Pittsburgh in 1945. The girl that you see on your screen is known as Barn Girl 2, and she was last seen in possibly southeast Kansas in the early 90s. If you can help identify her, you are encouraged to call the Osage County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Office at 918-287-3131 or the KBI at 800-572-7463. A Missouri judge sentenced a man to life in prison without parole for the murder of a police officer. Authorities say in August 2017, Clinton, Missouri police officer Gary Michael pulled over a vehicle driven by Ian McCarthy. They say McCarthy then got out of his vehicle and shot Officer Michael with a high-powered rifle. Michael died from his injuries. McCarthy was caught after a 2-day manhunt, and a jury convicted him but couldn't decide whether to sentence him to life in prison or to the death penalty. In that case, the judge decides, and McCarthy was given life in prison. Prosecutors say they will not seek charges on a Joplin police sniper who shot and killed a 2-year-old girl during a standoff in Baxter Springs, Kansas last year. The hostage situation happened last year in March and also claimed the lives of 2 adults. Police say Ellie Crawford shot and killed 27-year-old Taylor Shute outside their home before going back inside with 2-year-old Cecilyn Crawford. When police later entered the home, they found both Eli and Cecilyn Crawford were dead. It was determined that Cecilyn Crawford was killed by a bullet fired by a police sniper. The Cherokee County Attorney's Office has now completed its criminal liability review and determined the fatal shot fired was not reckless, so the sniper will not be charged. People around Boone County, Missouri said their goodbyes to a landmark that was more than 60 years old. Take a look. Here you'll see authorities demolish the old Missouri River Bridge in Rochport yesterday morning. The bridge saw more than 12.5 million vehicles a year. However, it was rated to be in poor condition. Crews will now remove 6 million pounds of steel and debris after yesterday's demolition, so construction on an eastbound bridge can start. They project that to be expected to be finished by December of next year. A Utah mother known to millions for her strict online parenting advice is accused of aggravated child abuse. Ruby Frankie's YouTube videos became controversial for her take on tough love. On Friday, she made her initial court appearance, facing allegations that 2 of her own children were found to be abused and malnourished. Carter Evans has more from Los Angeles. Another hearing for Frankie and Hildebrandt is set for later this month. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Missouri Southern baseball team celebrates a local commit signs to the program. Plus, a volunteer firefighter who survived the September 11th terror attacks is trying to break the stigma around mental health and PTSD. And it's Monday, which means it's time to go back to school and work. We'll have what this week holds weather-wise with Chris in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, the Missouri Southern baseball program is coming off a big season. Earlier in the weekend, the Lions got a local high school commitment to add to their program. Drew Vonderhaar, out of Webb City High School, announced on his social media page on Thursday morning that he is continuing his baseball and academic career to Missouri Southern State University. Vonderhaar was a key piece to the Cardinals baseball team last season, where he led the team in doubles and slugging.
I've kind of, grown up around the campus, both my parents going to Missouri Southern. Gone to a lot of camps when I was little, a lot of sporting events, and I've always known that, I've kind of always wanted to go there. If I had the opportunity to go there, it'd be really awesome. And so when I did get that opportunity, I kind of knew that that's where I wanted to be at. I like the culture around there. They're obviously a really good team. I've known Coach Darnell and Coach Tuck for a long time, going to their camps when I was younger. I always had a good relationship with them, so I'm excited to, be a part of that culture and be around them every day.
Well, Kansas City Chiefs get this Sunday off as they played in their season opener on Thursday night in a loss to the Detroit Lions. Of course, the big story in that game were the dropped passes.
And I've trust in KT. He missed a lot of training camp. Obviously, he wanted to play and fought rehab hard so he could play. And stuff's not always going to go your way. Obviously, he would have wanted to catch a few of those in the game, but I've trust that he's going to be that guy that I go to in those crucial moments, and he's going to make the catch and win us some seasons like he did last year. So we're going to continue to work him in.
Yeah, it's unusual for us to drop that many passes anywhere, anytime. So we'll go back and work on that. But you got to take care of business, and these guys know that, and so we've got to fix that.
So with the Chiefs off on Sunday, we can take a look at the rest of the AFC West. The NFL proved once again that anything can happen on any given Sunday. New Broncos head coach Sean Payton makes his Denver debut. Raiders' new quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo makes his Vegas debut. In the first quarter, it's the 3rd and goal, and Garoppolo finds Jacoby Myers for the Las Vegas touchdown. 7-0, black and silver. So late first quarter, same score. Russell Wilson stands in the pocket, looking around until he finds little Jordan Humphrey for the touchdown. Denver gets in the board, and we're now tied 7-7. Fast forward to the 4th, Denver leads 16-10. Garoppolo finds Jacoby Myers again for a second touchdown of the day. 17-16 Raiders lead. Next Vegas possession, it's 3rd and 7, and Garoppolo scrambles for the first down, and that will do it. The Raiders beat Denver on their home field 17-16. And Chargers opened their season at home against Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins. Second quarter, Dolphins lead 10-7. Justin Herbert finds Donald Parham for the touchdown. Bolts lead 14-10. So fast forward to the third quarter, Chargers leading 24-20. Tua Tagovailoa to Tyreek Hill. Touchdown, Miami. It's Dolphins lead 27-24. Next LA possession, 2nd and goal. Josh Kelly for the touchdown. Chargers back on top 21-27. So late in the 4th quarter, Miami trails 34-30, but Tua launches it to former Chief Tyreek Hill. Later in the drive, 3rd and goal. Tua to Hill again. And it's touchdown Miami. Dolphins have the lead and they hold on to it. Miami wins a thriller in SoFi Stadium. Dolphins beat the Chargers 36-34. Man, some close games in the NFL here. Well, Kansas City Royals are wrapping up a road trip north of the border on Sunday afternoon. Meanwhile, the St. Louis Cardinals finish up their series in Cincinnati. Kansas City Royals pay a visit to the Toronto Blue Jays, and there wasn't much success for Kansas City in this series as they get swept by Toronto. Royals lose to the Blue Jays 5-2. St. Louis Cardinals are looking for the sweep heading into Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately for the Redbirds, that doesn't happen. St. Louis loses to the Cincinnati Reds 7-1. Well, still to come, a deadly earthquake hit the country of Morocco and a confirmed 2,100 people are dead. We'll have more on the ongoing mourning period that's happening within the country. Plus, we're going to take a look at some much-needed rain heading into our forecast. I guess it's a beautiful day if you really like the rain. We'll have a look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16, almost 5:17 on this Monday morning. And boy, we got some much needed rain across the area for us today. So we've got a few showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder out there this morning. We'll see more showers and scattered thunderstorms as we head late through the morning and into the afternoon, evening, and into the overnight hours across the area. So that was noon. Here we are at 5, so they are scattered. Some of us will have brief pauses in the shower and thunderstorm activity as we go through the afternoon and evening, but they will be brief. Now, the good news is at this point, we're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms. We're looking at just good old-fashioned thunderstorms and some good old-fashioned rainfall. And as we head towards sunrise tomorrow, we'll start to see that activity break up a bit, but we still have some low-end chances for a few scattered showers as we head into Tuesday, and they should taper off by early afternoon. But you can see our best rain chances again will really ramp up as we head later to the afternoon and evening hours heading toward tomorrow morning. Quick look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin. Not raining in Joplin as of yet, nor in the Osho from the MoDOT camera at US 60 and Missouri 59. And the rain is encroaching upon Pittsburgh, but not quite there yet. So still dry conditions from the KDOT camera at US 69 and East 520th Avenue, just immediately south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and range line, you can see the roads are dry. We've got mostly cloudy skies out there. 68, dew points 58, humidity 70%. Calm breeze, not too bad of a start. And as we look at temperatures around the region, even those that have been getting in on the rain, still not bad. Look at these temperatures, mostly mid to upper 60s. 68 in Chanute, 63 Pittsburgh, 63 Chautauqua, 65 in Parsons, 63 Miami, 66 Neosho, and 67 in Carthage and Lamar. So as we get our morning started, again, we'll see increasing scattered showers and thunderstorms, and we'll go into right around the mid-70s by late morning. And heading into the afternoon, more scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Temperatures peaking in the upper 70s across the region, although depending on when you get a break in the showers, you may reach closer to 80 if you get a break in the afternoon and get a little more heating going on. Scattered showers and thunderstorms again continue through the late evening and overnight hours, and we're going to go right around 60 for our overnight low, and then we'll start to dry out. Now again, we'll have a few scattered showers mainly before, say, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We're going to go mid-70s with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy skies for us on Wednesday, upper 70s, but look at what this front does with our temperatures. There is not a single 80-degree reading on this board. We get close by Sunday, but still not quite there. A few isolated storms possible Thursday evening, maybe a few morning showers on Saturday. As we head into the next work week, we do start to climb back into the low 80s, so a little bit more seasonable, a little bit warmer, but not bad. A few more isolated thunderstorm chances by next Wednesday, but look at these overnight lows. Man, you're going to need a sweater, Might be a good night to have a bonfire out there, or open the windows for a little bit, and unless you're like me and this is just too cold, but that's just me. I get cold super easy. But look at those lows, back into the mid-50s, maybe some upper 50s out there, so not a bad week ahead at all. We've got plentiful rainfall today, not anything about flooding, just some good old-fashioned rain bringing us some much-needed shower activity in the area. That's a quick check of your forecast. We're going to be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, some Americans say they are having problems finding at-home COVID tests amid the recent increase in the number of cases and hospitalizations in the country. But pharmacies and manufacturers say there is no shortage of tests. Major pharmacy chains, including CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid, have all reported an increase in sales of the testing kits. However, they also say they have the inventory to meet the testing needs of their customers. Manufacturers put the blame for any issues on finding tests on the sudden increase in demand and not a slump in production. In fact, some manufacturers say they are ramping up production in preparation for the fall virus season. New research suggests that the cold weather might actually affect those with high blood pressure. A study to be presented before the American Heart Association found blood pressure may increase in the colder season. The researchers studied the medical data of nearly 61,000 adults in the Midwest and Southeast regions between 2018 and 2023. They found on average their blood pressure increased by up to 1.7 millimeters of mercury in the wintertime compared to the summertime months. Experts say that things like stress and diet can affect a person's blood pressure, and more than 122 million people suffer from high blood pressure in the U.S. Lending a helping hand to others might be more beneficial than you think. New researchers suggest that also can protect you from brain dementia. And researchers from the University of California, Davis Health studied the data of nearly 2,500 elderly adults. Expert tested participants' cognitive and motor abilities. They found that those who had volunteered had better results in tests, enhancing their mental stimulation, social interactions, and even physical activity. Analysis say that these results show that helping others may help protect the brain from dementia and overall cognitive decline. Men in the United States apparently believe they're leading a healthier lifestyle than they actually are. A national poll conducted by the Cleveland Clinic found 4 out of 5 American men think the way they're living is conducive to good health. But in this case, actions speak louder than words. It turns out nearly half of American men do not get a yearly physical, and just half of them say they follow a healthy diet, and about a quarter admit they're couch potatoes who watch television more than 5 hours a day. And almost half of the respondents do nothing to address their mental health. Researchers who looked up at the survey results say that men can be disillusioned, uninformed, and absent when it comes to how they perceive their overall health. And a volunteer firefighter who survived the September 11th terror attacks is on a mission. He's trying to break the stigma surrounding mental health and PTSD, something he knows about all too well. Haley Ott shows us how he's finding comfort through man's best friend.
Rob Weisberg's service dog Chip is trained to recognize certain cues of post-traumatic stress disorder.
When he sees them, he comes over and gives me a whack with his paw. And basically he's saying to me, come on, let's go for a walk, let's change it up, let's just get you in a different mindset.
A volunteer firefighter who nearly lost his life during 9/11 while helping others, Weisberg has struggled with survivor's guilt and PTSD ever since.
I had my suicide planned out. I just had to do it.
According to federal research, roughly 1 in 3 first responders develops PTSD in the U.S., and first responders are nearly 10 times more likely to contemplate suicide than average Americans. Robert Masseri is the co-founder of Paws of War, the organization that trained Chip and other service dogs to work with first responders and veterans with PTSD.
We help them by placing a dog with them to understand the balance and what this animal can do for them. Right down to sleeping next to you, waking you up when you have night tremors.
Unless you have PTSD, you'll really never understand what it's like. And I tell people all the time, Paws of War provides a safe place for me to be me.
Through Paws of War, Weisberg connected with others who knew exactly what he was going through. Earlier this year, he hiked the Appalachian Trail to raise money for the organization and to raise awareness of PTSD.
Break the stigma, okay? get people comfortable with the idea of saying, I'm having a problem, I'm going to get help.
Now, Weisberg is moving forward with new hope for the future and a friend by his side. Haley Ott, CBS News, Wisconsin, New York.
Weisberg says it took him more than 2 decades, but he's finally able to sleep through the night, and his message to others is to never give up. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on shower and thunderstorm activity, getting ready to roll into the 4 states. The good news is no strong or severe thunderstorms are expected. We are just looking at some much needed rainfall across the area, and it's going to last through the majority of your Monday. We'll have another complete look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, the 4 states played host to a carnival for people's furry best friends.
Roads in Joplin are dry, but that's not the case everywhere out there. So we've got increasing shower and thunderstorm chances. We'll get you out the door with that forecast coming up.
Plus, after a tragic accident took the life of Kyron Addington, his friends and family and classmates got together in honor of his memory.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5:30 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's not a bad start out there, at least in terms of temperatures. We've got a great day, and it's really, you may have noticed that little graphic that said a beautiful day. Honestly, for those of us who are in need of this rain, which is pretty much the entire area, this much needed rain is a beautiful day out there because we are behind for the year. We're already behind for September, but as we talked about last month, September looking to be a slightly wetter month for us, and hopefully, again, this is that kickoff to that. We've got a few scattered showers now starting to get into parts of Vernon and Barton County, stretching back to the west, and then there's more scattered showers and a few thunderstorms out there off to the west. All of this activity will be making its way into the area and, of course, spreading in from west to east. Now, the great news is no strong or severe thunderstorms expected, just some much-needed rainfall. So some of the kids, especially in southeast Kansas, we're going to need those umbrellas when they get on the bus this morning. Low 60s, some scattered storms. Everybody needing the umbrella by the time they head home. Mid-70s and more widespread showers and thunderstorms across the area. So we get our morning started. Again, we'll see the increase in showers and thunderstorms from west to east across the area and be right around the mid-70s by late morning. So this is a look as we head into noon. You saw that just slowly overspreading, and as we get a little closer to noon, more scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. There will be pauses, and those of you, if you get into a pause at the right time, your highs today might be a little closer to 80 degrees, but not by much. Again, scattered showers, thunderstorms hanging on through the evening into the overnight hours, and even as we head towards sunrise, a few more isolated showers, and we could see a few more isolated showers for our Tuesday across the area. You can see the rain chances really ramping up as we head into the late evening hours and overnight across the region. But again, no strong or severe thunderstorms expected. We're just looking at some good old-fashioned rainfall out there. This is all part of a front that's going to pass through the area. We'll tell you what that does to our temperatures for the week ahead in your full forecast here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, All Dogs Dream hosted a fall carnival for the 4 states' furry friends. The event included free food and pup-friendly activities such as paw paintings and photo booths. The purpose of the event was to help families bond and have some fun with their pets before the end of summer.
We have our paw painting, which is an event we did in the past, but where they can get their dog's paw, and a lot of them hang them up on the freezer, fridge, whatever it is. We also have markers to where they can draw and design on their dog that's washable. Treat walks, photo booths, ball pits, whatever.
The event was free to any dogs that were fully vaccinated. A year after Kyron Addington's fatal accident, his closest family and friends got together for an inaugural celebration of life. They met at Keltoy Winery and had a cornhole tournament, car show, and gun raffle. Many of his classmates also came together to raise money in his honor.
I knew the kid for a while of my life. Him and Caden Lamb were like my brothers for a long time, and to me, out of all the times I knew that kid, I never saw him sad. He was always a happy person, and I mean that like so seriously. He was never a sad person, never mad. He was just always happy, always seeing the light in every situation.
All proceeds from the event will go to the Kyron Addington Memorial Scholarship. Joplin's inaugural Pride Fest continued in downtown Joplin. Saturday, Jomo Pride Fest kicked off with a Pride March, a drag show featuring drag stars from the hit TV show RuPaul's Drag Race, and even a costume contest. Local vendors and food trucks lined the streets, and a few churches were in attendance to show their support.
It's hard to get visibility in a community like this, but shutting down Main Street, having the city be so supportive, having so many organizations take part in it, it was really emotional. It was really kind of breathtaking, the colors that we had downtown.
Pride means to me like being able to love who I love and show my children that they can be whoever they want and not have to worry about anybody getting into the way of that.
Jomo Pride Fest ended Sunday with Pride in the Park, hosted at Landreth Park. Gem City Days kicked off this morning at Diamond High School. The event began with a parade and lasted throughout the day with various activities for the whole family to enjoy. It included a cornhole tournament, car show, and a bounce house and blow-up slide for the kiddos.
As just a participant, as a community citizen that's visiting, I'm enjoying walking around looking at the booths. I loved being in the parade. I was very honored to be thought of to be the Grand Marshal, and so that was fun.
The event had more than 20 sponsors and vendors. The George Washington Carver National Monument hosted Prairie Days. The purpose of the event was to educate the community of Carver's history and childhood through demonstrations and various activities. It included basket and apple cider making, knitting, and wood carving. Children were also able to play with old-fashioned toys and games.
Prairie Day is a wonderful community event that we hold here at George Washington Carver to commemorate the lifestyles of southwestern Missouri rural people during George Washington Carver's childhood years.
The event began at 10 a.m. and wrapped up around 3 p.m. A knife competition was held in Columbus, Kansas. Contestants were judged on their ability to cut through 2x4s, tennis balls, heavy-duty ropes, and water bottles. Over 25 Forged in Fire alumni attended, as well as Judge Jay Nielsen from the famous TV show Forged in Fire.
Forging was kind of a lost art form until a few years back, and some people started making their own Damascus again. I'm a member of the American Bladesmith Society, and we're kind of geared towards keeping the tradition of the forged blade. We make our own Damascus, and we're heating the steel and beating it over an anvil and doing it the old-fashioned way, and it makes a really strong blade.
Young bladesmiths also had the opportunity to learn and gain knowledge from master smiths. Special Olympics and Pittsburgh Police partnered together to host Duck and Jeep Derby. The event had multiple contests, which included Best Jeep. It was judged by a 9-year-old Special Olympic athlete. They also had a raffle, prizes such as a set of 35-inch tires and a Jeep rack. Anyone with a Jeep was allowed to register for the event.
So our job as police officers and sheriff's deputies is to raise money and awareness for Special Olympics. So what we do is we do different events, the polar plunge, torch runs, tip of cops. We do all this stuff, and we're always trying to come up with new ideas. So Danny came up with this new idea, and we're going to run with it. Hopefully this one takes off and we're able to do more across the state because the more money and the more events we do for our Special Olympic athletes, it funds them to be able to participate in all their sporting events.
There were over 75 Jeeps in attendance. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A reporter in Tennessee comes to the rescue of a beehive after a storm took down the tree the hive was on. Plus, a former British soldier who escaped last week was caught on Saturday. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Veterans Memorial in Pittsburgh, as today we remember those who lost their lives in the terror attacks that happened today in 2001. Topping World Watch, rescue teams are racing to free an American trapped in a Turkish cave about 3,400 feet underground. Experienced caver Mark Dickey has been stranded for more than a week. He suffered gastrointestinal bleeding. Doctors say Dickey is healthy and ready to be transported, but it'll be a tough process because of his injuries. Rescue workers from Hungary, Italy, Croatia, and the U.S. are assisting in the effort. And Morocco is in a 3-day period of mourning after the strongest earthquake to hit North Africa in more than a century struck the country on Friday. More than 2,100 people are confirmed dead. though that number is expected to rise. At least another 2,000 people have been injured, and many of them displaced are now sleeping outside in the cold. Haley Ott has more from New York.
New satellite images show the extent of damage in Morocco after a 6.8 magnitude earthquake brought down buildings, killing and injuring thousands. This man says Friday's quake struck while his family was at the dinner table, killing one of his young sons. Rescuers are still sifting through the rubble in a race against time to find survivors. The quake triggered landslides that have blocked roads, cutting off vital access to hard-hit remote villages in the mountains. The Moroccan government has set up tents in Amizmiz for those who have lost their homes, but survivors say they need bread and water and that aid has been far too slow. In Marrakesh, those displaced by the quake slept outside for the third night in a row, fearing aftershocks.
We need to help because every family here don't have the house. Every house here is broken.
Locals, tourists, and even the Moroccan national soccer team have lined up to donate blood.
Caro popolo del Marocco.
Prayers and condolences poured in from around the world, including from Pope Francis and President Biden.
We're working expeditiously to ensure American citizens in Morocco are safe, standing ready to provide any necessary assistance to the Moroccan people as well.
The U.S. Embassy says a small number of Americans were injured in the quake, but there were no deaths. Haley Ott, CBS News.
The Moroccan government has so far accepted offers of support from 4 countries, including Spain, Qatar, the United Kingdom, and the United Arab Emirates. CBS News has learned that a team of disaster experts is there to determine how the U.S. can help with humanitarian efforts. And Spanish Football Federation Chief Luis Rubiales is resigned from his position as president. Rubiales is come under an international storm of criticism after kissing a player on the Women's World Cup team last month, sparking protests. He announced his resignation in a statement in which he said his position had become unstable, and last week a Spanish prosecutor filed a complaint against Rubiales and grounds of alleged sexual assault and coercion for kissing player Jenny Hermoso. A British player escaped who got away in a food delivery truck earlier last week is back in custody. Daniel Abed Khalif, a former British soldier who is facing terrorism charges. Khalif was caught on Saturday while riding a bicycle along a canal path west of London. A manhunt had been underway for him for 4 days. Khalif escaped Wandsworth Prisons Wednesday, exiting the prison gates, strapping himself to the bottom of a catering truck. Khalif had been charged with violating a British Secrets Act and planting fake bombs at a military base. Police got help from local citizens to make the arrest. And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 546 coming up on 547 on this Monday morning, and we've got a wet Monday out there for us. As we get the morning started, we have a few scattered showers, and they will continue to overspread the area as we head closer to the noon hour, and then all of us getting in on shower and thunderstorm activity throughout the day. The good news is, at this point, no strong or severe thunderstorms expected, just some good old-fashioned rain showers with some thunder in there, and bringing some much-needed rainfall across the area as well. This, as you see, here we are 9 o'clock tonight, still scattered showers and storms. We go into the overnight hours, they do eventually start to break up, but we could still see a few isolated showers as we go through our Tuesdays. You can see a very isolated, but a couple of them possible out there. Our better rain chances coming again as we head into the afternoon and evening hours and even into the early overnight with some much needed rain across the area. Just cannot be over how much we need this rainfall. On the Joplin side of things, MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line, no rainfall there yet. Same in Neosho. We're staying dry for now from the MoDOT camera at US 60, Missouri 59. And we're still dry just south of Pittsburgh from the KDOT camera there, but the showers slowly but surely getting a little closer. And of course, we're dry at 7th and Range Line. We've got mostly cloudy skies, 68 right now. Otherwise, not bad. Good dew point. Humidity's up there because, well, it's about to rain, but otherwise it's not a bad start to the day. 60s across the area, 64 in Pittsburgh, 68 in Chanute, 67 Yates Center, Neodesha, Independence, 62 in Miami, at 66 Neosho, 68 Carthage and Lamar as we get our Monday morning started. And as we go through the rest of our morning, whether you're going to school, work, shopping, or just hanging out at home, scattered showers and thunderstorm chances will increase as they continue to overspread the area, and we'll go mid mid-70s by late morning. Then we head into this afternoon, and we are looking pretty good in terms of the rain that we need out there. I know some folks may be dancing in the rain, but it's not advisable with thunderstorms in the area. Lightning is deadly. If we didn't have the thunderstorm chances, it might be a little safer to dance in the rain. We're looking at highs in the mid to upper 70s across the area. That's right, the mid to upper 70s across the area. And all this rain and thunderstorm activity is associated with a little frontal passage. And that's going to have an impact on our temperatures for the week ahead as well. We're going to talk about that here in about 10 or 15 seconds. More scattered showers, thunderstorms through the evening. Of course, that allows our temperatures to fall back rather quickly through the evening thanks to the rain and cloud cover. We'll go back right around 60 with those scattered showers persisting into the overnight hours. So how does this front impact our week ahead? Well, here's how it impacts our week ahead. Take a look at these temperatures. 70s. In fact, 70s through Sunday. We get a little closer to 80 by Sunday, but still not bad. Again, a few scattered showers, mainly even isolated showers on Tuesday before 1 o'clock, mid-70s. A little warmer Wednesday, a little cooler on Thursday. Look at that, only 70. Some evening storms possible. A little warmer Friday, mid-70s, upper 70s Saturday, Sunday. Maybe some morning showers on Saturday. And look at these overnight lows, by the way, in the 50s. And these will stick with us even as we begin to warm up next week. Still overnight lows, upper 50s. We'll go into the low 80s as we kick off the next work week with a few more thunderstorm chances by next Wednesday. That's a quick check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this. But first, got another live look from the Veterans Memorial in Pittsburgh, as today we remember those who lost their lives in the terror attacks that happened on this day in 2001.
A Tennessee reporter also moonlights as a beekeeper, and those skills came in handy this week when Nick Burrs got a call about a swarm that needed some help.
Okay, it was Tuesday. A storm came through Hartsville, took down a bunch of trees, damaged some home property, also damaged the home of honeybees. There is a hive inside the hollow of that tree. And so the idea now is to go in and try to clear those bees out, save them, and keep people from having to deal with swarming bees all around the neighborhood. For the moment, those who live nearby are now very aware of these unexpected neighbors. The property owner who called me was surprised about the tenants in the tree.
I'm very intrigued. Have no idea they were there. Just wanted to save their habitat.
Anyone get stung yet?
No, sir.
Not for the moment. Honeybees are typically docile. They don't want to sting you, but their home was destroyed in the storm, and they're defensive. So I suit up before moving in to remove the bees and the honeycomb. So now you can see they're getting more agitated. I'm going to have to start cutting it out. These days, wild hives like this one in a tree are very rare. The majority of bees in Tennessee now live in hive boxes kept by beekeepers. As pollinators, they are vital to the success of crops in Tennessee. It's important to protect them. In this case, I slowly remove the comb, much of it filled with honey, and collect as many of the bees as possible into a hive box. The key to the entire process is getting the queen, which is tricky. Do that, and all the other bees will follow. Fingers crossed. Whew, all right, those were some mean bees, angry bees. I don't blame them, I got stung in the chin. All right, in here, in the truck, finally away from them. Think we've got the queen in the back. We're gonna go and try to set them up someplace else and hopefully find them a new place to live.
It is illegal in Tennessee to deliberately kill honeybees. If you have an unwanted hive on your property, you can contact your local beekeeping association and someone will likely be willing to help you out. We'll be right back. Demolition of Marilyn Monroe's former Los Angeles home is on hold by Los Angeles City Council following a last-minute motion to designate the house a historical cultural monument. Councilmember Tracy Park, who represents the district that includes Brentwood, where the home is located, said the house was sold in July and the new owner filed a request to have it demolished. When word got out about the home's looming demise, Park's office was flooded with calls to save the legendary bungalow that once belonged to the pop culture icon. On Friday, the Los Angeles City Council unanimously approved Park's emergency motion to start the process of designating the house a historical building. Demolition is on hold until the city's Office of Historic Resources conducts a study and analysis of the home. A Florida man is in police custody after he tried crossing the Atlantic Ocean in a giant hamster wheel. The Coast Guard arrested 51-year-old Reza Bellucci about 70 miles off the Georgia coast after a 3-day standoff. Authorities say Bellucci was using this vessel to make a 5,000-mile trek from Florida to London. However, Coast Guard members say he threatened to kill himself with a knife and claimed he had a bomb on board, a claim he later retracted. Bellucci finally left the wheel and was arrested.
Well, we've got scattered showers and thunderstorms increasing through the morning and into the afternoon across the area. No severe weather expected, but some much needed rainfall out there. Mid-70s by late morning. Highs today mid to upper 70s across the area, with those scattered thunderstorms persisting with us, and they'll hang on through the evening and into the overnight hours as well. So more scattered showers and storms, more much needed rainfall, more needs for umbrellas today. We'll go back to a pretty cool 60 degrees for our overnight low. Could have a couple of isolated showers before 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, mid-70s. A little warmer on Wednesday, cooler on Thursday. Some evening storms, maybe some morning showers on Saturday. But take a look at these high temperatures, not making it out of the 70s on this 7-day forecast, and overnight lows into the 50s. So some great weather out there once this front passes through. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, people around Boone County, Missouri said goodbye to a landmark that was more than 60 years old.
And we are saying hello to scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area with a frontal passage. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, we take a look at Jomo Pride Fest that took place over the weekend in downtown Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got a pretty decent start across the area. I've said that several times, but honestly, that is a fact for this Monday morning. That's why I say it, because it's the truth. We've got a very nice start out there, and some of us already getting in on some scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. We absolutely need this rainfall, and as you can see on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, we are absolutely beginning to get this rainfall. We got some of the showers and thunderstorms into Bourbon and Vernon and even Barton counties out there, and a few showers trailing down into parts of Crawford County, but the big show still out to our west. Now, the good news is we're not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms with this activity. Just some good old-fashioned rain, and as my dad used to call them, thunder boomers as we head into the day. So let's take a wider view, and you can see a bigger batch of activity associated with this front that's going to pass through, and that's going to have an impact on our temperatures through the week ahead, and we'll talk about that in your full forecast here in a few more minutes. However, kids getting on the bus, if you are in southeast Kansas, you will absolutely need that umbrella this morning, but if you are outside of southeast Kansas, take it with you anyway, because showers and thunderstorms will increase. We're talking low 60s this morning, south breeze 5 to 10. Behind the front shifts to northwest at 5 to 10. More widespread showers and thunderstorms this afternoon as we go into the mid 70s. As we get our morning started, again, showers, thunderstorms increase through the morning, mid 70s by late morning, and then these showers and thunderstorms will stay with us through the entire day into the evening and overnight hours. And you can see where our best rain chances are late this evening into very early tomorrow morning. Still have a couple other shower chances out there as well, and as I mentioned, this front does have an impact on our temperatures this week. We'll look at all that in your full forecast a little later in the show. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, authorities in Montgomery County investigate an attempted homicide in Wayside, Kansas. The attempted homicide happened on September 9th around 7:30 p.m. Upon arrival, deputies located a male victim that had critical injuries, and the suspect was no longer on scene. The suspect was later located and taken into custody without further incident. Further details will be released at a later time as the investigation is currently ongoing. Prosecutors say they will not seek charges on a Joplin police sniper who shot and killed a 2-year-old girl during a standoff in Baxter Springs last year. The hostage situation happened last year in March and also claimed the lives of 2 adults. Police say Eli Crawford shot and killed 27-year-old Taylor Shute outside their home before going back inside with 2-year-old Cleslin Crawford. When people later entered the home, they found both Eli and Cleslin Crawford dead. It was determined that Cleslin Crawford was killed by a bullet fired by a police sniper. The Cherokee County Attorney's Office has now completed its criminal liability review and determined the fatal shot fired was not reckless, so the sniper will not be charged. A Missouri judge sentenced a man to life in prison without parole for for the murder of a police officer. Authorities say in August 2017, Clinton, Missouri, police officer Gary Michael pulled over a vehicle driven by Ian McCarthy. They say McCarthy then got out of his vehicle and shot Officer Michael with a high-powered rifle. Michael died from his injuries. McCarthy was caught after a 2-day manhunt. A jury convicted him but couldn't decide whether to sentence him to life in prison or for the death penalty. In that case, the judge decides and McCarthy was given life in prison. And the man who is known as the BTK killer, aka Dennis Rader, might have a victim who was last seen in southeast Kansas. The serial killer's past is once again haunting not only the state of Kansas, but Oklahoma and Missouri as well. And one of these victims may hit closer to home than we thought. Dennis Rader, who is no stranger to southeast Kansas, was born in Pittsburgh in 1949. The girl that you see on your screen is known as Barn Girl 2, and she was last seen in possibly southeast Kansas in the early 90s. If you can help identify her, you are encouraged to call the Osage County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Office at 918-287-3131 or the KBI at 800-572-7463. People around Boone County, Missouri said goodbye to a total landmark that was more than 60 years old. The authorities demolished the old Missouri River Bridge in Rochport yesterday morning. The bridge was more than 12.5 million vehicles a year, and it was rated to be in poor condition. Crews will now remove 6 million pounds of steel and debris after yesterday's demolition, so construction on an eastbound bridge can start. That project is expected to be finished by December of next year. A community in Wichita, Kansas is mourning the death of a well-known sports photographer. Linda Gregory was a photographer for the Northwest High School football team. Last week, she was on the sidelines of a JV football game and fell and hit her head on the concrete. And on last Friday, her husband honored her by showing up at the varsity game and taking photos. Leon Purvis has more.
The most generous and loving person I've ever known.
An emotional moment for Mel Gregory as he shared the news on Facebook Friday. His wife Linda passed and is at peace. Northwest High School football players embraced Mel.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
As he stood on the sidelines taking photos, what the couple did together under Friday night lights.
Number one, she doesn't blame any of the kids. Number two, this was her school. I mean, she was from Iowa. She didn't go to any school, but she loved these people. And she wants to know that, what would like everybody to know, that the kids are her primary concern.
Taking the field after Linda Gregory got hit on the sidelines of a JV football game Monday night is not easy for Mel.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. I've got her camera that she was using that night. And I just want to try to help, do as much as I can. I may not shoot a lot, but I want to do what I can.
The photos Linda took are worth 1,000 words, just like Mel will have 1,000 memories of when his wife would take photos at Northwest High School football games.
I can't tell you what she says, but I think she would love it that I was carrying on her tradition.
Linda and Mel's family were on the sideline with Mel on Friday night, and there was a moment of silence for her before the game started. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the hunt for an escaped murderer is expanding in Pennsylvania. We'll tell you how the authorities plan on catching the convict. Plus, why Elon Musk's X Corporation has sued California's Attorney General over the state's new content moderation law. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. But first, here's a live look from the Veterans Memorial in Pittsburgh, as today we remember those lost on September 11th. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Elon Musk's X Corporation, the parent company of the platform formerly known as Twitter, has sued California's Attorney General over the state's new content moderation law. Governor Gavin Newsom signed the bill into law last September. Among other things, social media platforms must disclose how their automated content moderation systems work, how they define controversial content categories such as hate speech and disinformation, and the number of pieces of content flagged or removed in such categories. In its lawsuit, X alleges the law violates the First Amendment and California's Constitution by potentially compelling the company to moderate politically charged speech by users. California Attorney General's press office says they have not been served with the complaint yet, but they will review it and respond in court. Reality stars Todd and Julie Chrisley will be getting out of prison a little bit earlier. The Federal Bureau of Prisons online inmate search shows that both of their sentences have been reduced. Todd's 12-year sentence appears to have been shortened by almost 2 years. He is now scheduled to be released in January 2033. Julie was sentenced to 7 years, but she's now scheduled to be released in October 2028. The two were convicted of conspiracy to defraud banks out of more than $30 million last year. They reported to prison in January. On Friday, a federal judge rejected former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' bid to move his Georgia criminal case to federal court. It's a significant setback for Meadows and could impact some of the other defendants who are also trying to move their cases. 19 people, including former President Donald Trump, face charges in the Fulton County District Attorney's sprawling racketeering case. Meadows was the first of 5 defendants who have already filed motions to move their cases to federal court, and Trump is also expected to do so. The defendants wanted their cases before a federal judge in the hopes of using federal immunity protections to get the charges dismissed. In his decision, the judge called Meadows' acts political, saying they were not under the scope of his role within the Trump administration. The hunt for an escaped murderer is expanding in Pennsylvania after police say Daniello Cavalcante slipped away again over the weekend. Authorities say he stole a van and has changed his appearance. CBS's Haley Ott has the latest from New York.
A doorbell camera captured new images of escaped killer Danilo Cavalcante, now clean-shaven in a green sweatshirt, after he managed to slip past a Pennsylvania police perimeter again this weekend.
No perimeter is 100% secure, ever. I'm not going to make an excuse to you. I wish it had not happened.
Cavalcante has been on the run since August 31st, when he broke out of prison after being handed a life sentence for murdering his ex-girlfriend in front of her 2 small children. Since his escape, he's been spotted at least 10 times. Police say he stole a delivery van Saturday night and drove about 25 miles to the home of a former coworker. When that person wasn't home, he tried visiting another.
He is absolutely looking for support. He needs that support. He doesn't have it.
Police searched neighborhoods where Cavalcante was spotted but didn't find him. They did track down the stolen van he used, then ditched. Officers think he ran out of gas.
We are obviously very concerned that Cavalcante has or will attempt to steal another vehicle to facilitate his escape.
Residents in the area remain on edge.
I think I'm going to stay with my sister tonight, especially if they don't catch him. You never know.
They need to bring the National Guard out now. Enough's enough.
Authorities say they're bringing in more manpower to help in the search. And while they believe Cavalcante's still in the state, they're preparing for a national manhunt. Haley Ott, CBS News, New York.
The search was made even more difficult this weekend by the weather. After the heat wave that's been hitting the area, there was also storms that grounded police helicopters. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Now here's Chris Warner with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a few scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, and these will continue to increase as we head through the morning hours and into the afternoon across the area. The good news is we're not anticipating any severe weather with this activity, just some much needed rainfall. We're going to have another full look at your forecast here in a few more minutes when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. In studio with us today is the ever lovely Lori Horton. She's here to show us how to make Dr. Pepper brownies.
Yes.
All right.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Lori.
We've got a good one for you guys today. I know a lot of you have probably heard about baking or maybe tried baking with different recipes that use pop, and that's what we're going to do today. It is going to replace the eggs and the oil in our brownie recipe. Otherwise, this is a really different brownie recipe than any you might have tried, but it's really cool. It gives it a little bit different texture, a little lighter. The carbonation.
Will it taste like Dr. Pepper?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think what it does is kind of richens your chocolate flavor. It kind of brings out the cocoa a little bit more.
All right.
The biggest advantage of it is by using that carbonation, you get a little bit lighter texture to the brownie itself.
Oh.
And it can lighten it a little bit if you're trying to go, no eggs, no oil. There's
Gotcha.
the replacement. So
There
it's
it is.
perfect. So all I'm doing here to start with is adding flour and sugar and cocoa powder, pretty standard. I've already got my baking powder in there, and it is baking powder, not baking soda. I'm going to mix these just a little bit to start with because we want to make sure that that is all incorporated before we add the wet ingredient to that. So I'm just going to kind of take that. You can use a whisk, a fork, whatever. Just kind of get all of that chocolate incorporated so that you have a good dark colored dry mixture instead of that bright white flour.
Now, could you use one of those instant brownie? Or no?
I wouldn't, because this one's got the baking powder in it and your different leaveners, and your box mixes will have some of those already kind of mixed into the dry.
Perfect.
So one or the other. And we're just going to crack this nice fresh can of Dr. Pepper. All right, and we're going to use the whole thing. You can use a different soda if you want to.
Like
use
what? Coca-Cola,
Coke, RC.
What about root beer?
I wouldn't.
No Mountain Dew? There's no Mountain Dew?
Oh, God. Please, no Mountain Dew.
Okay. All right.
Some type of a cola. You can even use Diet Cola if you prefer. I don't think it's going to make a real big difference against the rest of our ingredients. This isn't health food, you know, we're not kidding ourselves, but you absolutely can. And if you can see that, it's going to be kind of that foamy mixture at first. You're going to get that carbonation mixed in. And all we're going to do is just keep stirring, keep working on that until it is completely incorporated and starts to look more like a regular smooth batter. I'm going to add chocolate chips and a dash of cinnamon at the end, and then we are going to put it in our little 8x8 pan there that we're going to spray. And that's not really to keep it from being too stuck. It's just we want to make it easy when we go to pull those brownies out later.
I love it. Lori, you're wonderful. Stick around because we're going to be here and show you the next few steps of these amazing Dr. Pepper brownies. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Now 6:22 on this Monday morning. We've got a few scattered showers out there now, and as the morning progresses, we head into the afternoon. We'll have more widespread showers and thunderstorms going through today. There'll be a few breaks here and there, but they won't be long-lived. And the great news is not only are we getting much-needed rain, we're not looking at any strong or severe thunderstorms out there today. Just some good old-fashioned rain and some thunder mixed in. These will hold on through the overnight, and then we'll start to go with more isolated showers. But as we go through our Tuesday, a few additional isolated showers will be possible, but that should all clear out by about 1 o'clock tomorrow. So you can see where our rain chances really ramp up late this evening into the early overnight hours, where we've got those better shots for more widespread showers and thunderstorms, but we'll still see some as we go through the morning hours. Right now in Joplin, though, still dry. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline showing us that. Same in Neosho from the MoDOT camera at 60 and 59. Unfortunately, the showers that were approaching Pittsburgh have kind of died out a bit. There's still a few out there, but we're still dry on the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th, and of course from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. But you can see that cloud cover, mostly cloudy skies out there, sitting at 68 in Joplin. Temperatures around the region, not a bad start for 64 Miami, 63 Pittsburgh and Parsons, 65 Fort Scott, 64 Neodesha, and 67 Carthage and Neosho, as well as Nevada and Stockton. So as we get our morning started, again, showers and thunderstorms will continue to increase in coverage as we go through the morning. We'll go mid-70s by late morning, and then we'll go upper 70s across the area today, with those scattered showers and thunderstorms persisting with us through the afternoon and again into the evening and overnight hours. So that much needed rain holds on for us, and we'll go with some scattered showers overnight and a little bit on the cool side, back down right around 60 degrees. And as we look ahead, our temperatures this week, thanks to the front that's bringing us the storm chances today, we're going to stay in the 70s, getting close to 80 by Sunday, but otherwise not bad. And look at these lows in the mid to upper 50s across the area. Again, a few scattered showers, isolated showers on Tuesday, a few isolated storms Thursday evening, a few showers Saturday morning, but otherwise we dry out after this batch and our temperatures stay quite pleasant. Let's check your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with a check of Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, vaccines for the upcoming flu season are showing promise in fighting the illness. Early data from 5 South American countries during their 2023 flu season, which is during the summer in the United States, shows the vaccines reduce flu-related hospitalizations by 52%. While there's no guarantee that what happened in the Southern Hemisphere will be replicated here, the CDC says that the vaccines could provide a similar protection in the U.S. And a new study shows people who use CPAP machines to treat their snoring lower their risk of dying from cardiovascular disease by 36%. This is compared to snorers who stopped using the devices. Researchers in Spain also found CPAP may work better than a weight loss drug in producing the buildup of plaque in the arteries around the heart. And hospital admissions for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, seem to be on the rise. A new study in the Canadian Medical Association Journal found COPD hospitalizations have increased 69% during the last 20 years, especially in women and people under 65. Researchers suggest environmental factors such as increased exposure to air pollution and wildfire smoke may be contributing to the increase. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Keltoy Winery holds a fundraiser for Carl Junction seniors to raise money for college.
We've got a dry start, at least on the Joplin side of things out there. A few isolated showers now, more on the way. We'll get you out the door with that forecast coming up.
Plus, a local doggy daycare hosts an all-dogs carnival to mark the end of summer.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got a few isolated showers out there for some of us this morning, but we have more widespread rain on the way as we go through the morning hours. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing a few of those isolated showers now drifting into Vernon County, northeastern Barton County out there, and one stray shower just north of Pittsburgh in Crawford County. But out to the west, more organized shower activity starting to build in. And we take a wider view on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, you can see this whole batch of showers and even a few thunderstorms will start rolling through the area. The good news is we're not anticipating any severe weather. We're just looking at some much needed rainfall and maybe a few thunderstorms to go along with that as we head through today. Kids getting on the bus, again, if you're especially on the southeast Kansas side, you're going to need that umbrella this morning as we'll see those scattered showers and storms, low 60s. However, everybody's going to need the umbrella when they come home, so make sure you send your kids to school with one, as well as more widespread showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. And heading right around the mid-70s. And this is a front that's passing through. So we're going to have a south breeze at about 5 to 10 ahead of that. And then it's going to switch out of the northwest later today. So as we get our morning started, again, showers and thunderstorms will increase as we go through the morning. And we're going to make it right around 74 by 11. And you can watch on the future track heading through this morning into the afternoon. The showers and thunderstorms become more widespread across the area. There will be a few pauses here and there, but they will be brief and will otherwise hold on to showers and thunderstorms through the evening and into the overnight hours, and we could still see a few isolated showers as we head into our Tuesday. So here we are at sunrise, a few scattered showers, and we go through the first part of our Tuesday, and a few isolated showers still possible, but these will clear out by about 1 o'clock. So our rain chances, now bear in mind that this graph just pulls from Joplin data. I can't spread it out. Unfortunately, it's one location, so that's why it's showing no real rain chances this morning, but then really ramping up this evening. But in all honesty, most of us will start to see some rain early through the morning, and then all of us will start to get into those higher rain chances as we head later into the evening and into the overnight hours across the area. This front will also impact our temperatures for the week ahead. We'll tell you how it's going to impact those temperatures with a full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, Joplin's inaugural Pride Fest took place in downtown Joplin this weekend. Saturday, Jomo Pride Fest kicked off with a Pride March, a drag show featuring stars from the hit TV show RuPaul's Drag Race, and even a costume contest. Local vendors and food trucks lined the streets, and a few churches were in attendance to show their support.
It's hard to get visibility in a community like this, but shutting down Main Street, having the city be so supportive, having so many organizations take part in it, it was really emotional. It was really kind of breathtaking, the colors that we had downtown.
Pride means to me like being able to love who I love and show my children that they can be whoever they want and not have to worry about anybody getting into the way of that.
Jomo Pride Fest ended Sunday with Pride in the Park, hosted at Landreth Park. And a year after Kyron Addington's fatal accident, his closest family and friends got together for an inaugural celebration of life. They met at Keltoy Winery and had a cornhole tournament, car show, and gun raffle. Many of his classmates also came together to raise money in his honor.
I knew the kid for a while of my life. Him and Caden Lamb were like my brothers for a long time, and to me, out of all the times I knew that kid, I never saw him sad. He was always a happy person, and I mean that like so seriously. He was never a sad person, never mad. He was just always happy, always seeing the light in every situation.
All proceeds from the event will go to the Kyron Addington Memorial Scholarship. Gem City Days happen on Saturday, and the Diamond High School hosted it. The event began with a parade and lasted throughout the last day, with various activities from the whole family to enjoy. It included a cornhole tournament, car show, and a bounce house and blow-up slide for the kiddos.
As just a participant, as a community citizen that's visiting, I'm enjoying walking around looking at the booths. I loved being in the parade. I was very honored to be thought of to be the Grand Marshal, and so that was fun.
The event had more than 20 sponsors and vendors. The George Washington Carver National Monument hosted Prairie Days. The purpose of this event was to educate the community of Carver's history and childhood through demonstrations and various activities. It included basket and apple cider making, knitting, and wood carving. Children were also able to play with an old-fashioned toy and games.
Prairie Day is a wonderful community event that we hold here at George Washington Carver to commemorate the lifestyles of southwestern Missouri rural people during George Washington Carver's childhood years.
The event began at 10 a.m. and wrapped up around 3 p.m. A knife competition was held in Columbus, Kansas. Contestants were judged on their ability to cut through 2 to 4s, tennis balls, heavy-duty ropes, and water bottles. Over 25 Forged in Fire alumni attended, as well as Judge Jay Nielsen from the famous TV show Forged in Fire.
Forging was kind of a lost art form until a few years back, and some people started making their own Damascus again. I'm a member of the American Bladesmith Society, and we're kind of geared towards keeping the tradition of the forged blade. We make our own Damascus, and you know, we're heating the steel and beating it over an anvil and doing it the old-fashioned way, and it makes a really strong blade.
Young bladesmiths also had the opportunity to learn and gain knowledge from mastersmiths. Special Olympics and Pittsburgh Police partnered together to host Duck and Jeep Derby. The event had multiple contestants, which included Best Jeep. It was judged by a 9-year-old Special Olympic athlete. They also had a raffle prize, such as a set of 35-inch tires and a Jeep rack. Anyone with a Jeep was allowed to register for the event.
So our job as police officers and sheriff's deputies is to raise money and awareness for Special Olympics. So what we do is we do different events, the polar plunge, torch runs, tip of cops, we do all this stuff, and we're always trying to come up with new ideas. So Danny came up with this new idea, and we're going to run with it. Hopefully this one takes off and we're able to do more across the state, because the more money and the more events we do for our Special Olympic athletes, it funds them to be able to participate in all their sporting events.
Over 75 Jeeps were in attendance. And All Dogs Dream hosted a fall carnival for the 4th State's furry friends. The event included free food and pup-friendly activities such as paw paintings and photo booths. The purpose of the event was to help families bond and have some fun with their pets before the end of summer.
You know, we have our paw painting, which is an event we did in the past, but where they can get their dog's paw, and a lot of them hang them up on the freezer, fridge, whatever it is. We also have markers to where they can draw and design on their dog that's washable. Treat walks, photo booths, ball pits, whatever.
The event was free to any dogs that were fully vaccinated. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Why a Starbucks in Madison, Wisconsin had to close Thursday after all the baristas walked off the job.
Plus, we've got ourselves some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. Those will increase through the day. We'll have another full forecast coming up. But first, we've got another live look from the Veterans Memorial in Pittsburgh, as today we remember those who lost their lives in the terror attacks on September 11th, 2001.
In Consumer Watch this morning, a Starbucks in Madison, Wisconsin had to close Thursday after all the baristas walked off the job. JT Sikowski reports on what prompted the workers to walk out and how customers are reacting.
In the middle of the Thursday morning rush, the baristas at the State Street Starbucks walked out of the store. They faced a backlog of orders that were taking them half an hour to fill. Lines of people nearly out the door at the State Street location have become a familiar sight to loyal customers like Hadi Andravi.
I saw the line and I just gave up. I can't imagine having to serve that because I didn't even want to wait in the line.
Employees here at the State Street Starbucks say that the reason for their action today is simple. They need the company to give them more help. Workers say the company staffs up the State Street location when classes resume on the nearby UW-Madison campus. But this year, the workers claim the company used artificial intelligence to analyze the store's performance. As a result, Starbucks hired many fewer employees for this fall's back-to-school rush.
And the AI system decided that our store needed to be at that staffing and no more. So we had to follow that.
I think it really just comes down to management trying to save money for salaries and paying people, thinking they can get away with employing less people per hour just to get more net gain for the hour.
Workers like Montana Fallon are all too familiar with the stress and toll that short staffing inflicts.
I'm exhausted at the end of a good day, but on a day like this, I am absolutely covered in coffee, drenched in sweat, and it almost hurts to walk home.
The workers say that the company has relented somewhat and hired some more help since its initial round of hiring for the fall rush, but it's short of what they need.
The company says that location has doubled in sales and customer demand since classes resumed. And new worries over rail safety. The Associated Press reports federal regulators found an alarming number of defects in trains and rail cars Union Pacific was using in Nebraska over the summer. And that railroad company was reluctant to fix the problems. Take AP also says that the Federal Railroad Administrator wrote a letter to the company's executives expressing concerns and that a company spokesperson has pledged to work with agencies to address them. Walmart is changing its pay structure for new hires. Now, entry-level workers across departments, whether they be cashiers or stockers, for example, will make the same starting pay. Those certain higher skilled roles, such as bakery, automotive, and deli employees, will still receive higher wages. The retail giant says the changes will not result in pay cuts for current employees and won't affect the company's minimum $14 per hour wage. And starting this week, pumpkin spice lovers can get their fix at Wendy's. The fast food chain released a new pumpkin spice Frosty. If you're looking for more of a caffeine kick, there's the pumpkin spice Frosty Cream Cold Brew, which makes the new seasonal Frosty flavor with cold brew coffee. I did not know that was there. That seems pretty cool. So that's it for Consumer Watch. Now let's take it over to Chris Warner.
Yeah, we've got ourselves some isolated showers out there. We had a little batch in southeast Kansas that's dying out as it moves into Missouri, but don't worry. More rain is on the way. Look out to the west, like Elk and Chautauqua County. Bigger batch of showers and even some thunderstorms starting to roll into the area, and this will continue to overspread the area through the day. As kids get on the bus, they're going to need that umbrella, especially in southeast Kansas this morning with those scattered thunderstorms increasing. Low 60s, and as the front passes through, our winds shift, but doesn't shift our temperatures, but still not bad. We go mid-70s. Everybody needing that umbrella by this afternoon as we have those scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. So again, as we get our morning started, showers, thunderstorms will continue to increase in coverage, and we'll be heading right for 74 around 11 o'clock this morning, and the rain will stick with us all day. In fact, our rain chances really start to ramp up as we head into the late evening and into the early overnight hours tonight. The good news is no severe weather is expected, so just some good old-fashioned rain and a few thunderstorms out there. We'll have another full look at your forecast and how this front impacts our temperatures for the week ahead. It's also just about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break, but what are they? There's some kind of disco party going on at the CBS Mornings in New York, and they are getting ready for CBS Mornings. Let's find out what they've got coming up for us.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, the return of one of our favorite segments, Kindness 101. Steve Hartman, plus his kids, Meryl and Emmett, they're going to share a lesson in remembrance. Remember that. Coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Monday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're going to begin in Nevada with Tucker Pike, celebrating birthday number 9, says Nan and Poppy love you.
Taking it over to Carl Junction, happy 11th birthday to Blaine Tatum.
And in Parsons, Eli Monty celebrating number 17. Happy birthday, Eli.
All right, and happy 19th birthday to Macy Clouch over in Chanute, Kansas.
And down to the south in Neosho, Gage Roberts celebrating birthday number 24. Happy birthday, Gage.
And taking it to Bartlett, Kansas, Frances Graves is celebrating a big birthday. She is the director of K-State Research and Extension Wildcat District. Her staff loves her enough not to mention her age.
That's a lot of love right there. We've also got Ann Egbert celebrating another year wiser in McCune. Happy birthday, Ann.
And happy birthday to Tammy Bruce over in Miami.
And Tanya Woolery celebrating birthday number 50 in Thayer. Happy birthday, Tanya.
And over in St. Paul, Kansas, Rick Clark turns 51 today. Happy birthday, Rick.
And Matthew and Norma Bird celebrating their 5th wedding anniversary in Parsons. Happy birthday, goodness. Happy anniversary to the Birds.
Yes. And over in Columbus, Kansas, happy birthday to Pat Jacob Berger.
And in Joplin, Donna Richardson celebrating another birthday. Happy birthday, Donna.
And happy 51st birthday to Justin Reno in Picou, Kansas.
All right, that's not a bad list right there. We, of course, want to continue to celebrate with you. Caitlin, where do they need to send those birthdays and anniversaries?
Oh, you know where. It's birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com. Please send us all of your special days with pictures and any messages you want us to give a shout out to.
We certainly love celebrating these birthdays with you. We also love celebrating much needed rainfall across the area. So right now in Joplin, and actually for most of us, we're starting to dry out, but more rain on the way. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line showing those dry roads. Same from the MoDOT camera at US 60, Missouri 59 Neosho, but you can also see the increasing cloud cover out there. And we're doing the same here at the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. Now, looky here. Some of that shower activity actually made it through. Roads there a little bit on the wet side. But again, still dry in Joplin for now. Mostly cloudy skies, sitting at 68 out there. Humidity's up there, but dew point is definitely manageable. And around the area, temperature's not looking too bad either. We had 66 Iola, Fort Scott, 63 in Pittsburgh, Parsons, Neodesha, 67 Chanute, 64 Miami, 66 Neosho, and 68 in Carthage and Nevada as we get this Monday morning underway. As our morning progresses, these scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue to increase in coverage from west to east going through the morning. We're talking about 74 by 11. Now the good news is no strong or severe thunderstorms anticipated with this activity today. Just some much needed rain and some thunder to go along with it. Some great weather out there. We need this rain so badly across the area. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will persist with us throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. And our highs today looking to be about the mid to upper 70s across the area. A couple of us could reach about 80, but that's going to be about the maximum. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, as you can see, they continue into the evening and into the late evening and into the overnight hours. So again, much needed rainfall out there. And the way it's set up, we're not looking at like torrential downpours. So we aren't that concerned about flooding at this point. But of course, we'll keep an eye on it. The ground has been relatively dry here. As we head into the week, this cold front is going to do enough to keep our temperatures quite nice out there, very mild, as we hang out in the 70s all the way through at least Sunday. Now by Sunday, we do get close to 80, but we're not quite there. A few scattered showers possible with us on our Tuesday. These will be isolated, and they will be out of here. They should be out of here by about 1 o'clock tomorrow. Will otherwise be mostly cloudy, mid-70s, upper 70s Wednesday, cooler on Thursday, maybe only 70. Some isolated evening storms, partly cloudy Friday, some morning showers on Saturday. And as we head into next week, our high temperatures do start to warm up again, a little closer to average into the low 80s, but our overnight lows do not really change that much. Check it out. We've got mainly mid-50s across the area. Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we'll tell you how one NFL husband gave his wife a resignation letter saying he won't be able to work on game days.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Prosecutors say they will not seek charges on a Joplin police sniper who shot and killed a 2-year-old girl during a standoff in Baxter Springs. The hostage situation happened last year in March and also claimed the lives of 2 adults. Police say Eli Crawford shot and killed 27-year-old Taylor Shute outside their home before going back inside with 2-year-old Cecilyn Crawford. When police later entered the home, they found both Eli and Cecilyn Crawford dead. It was determined that Cecilyn Crawford was killed by a bullet fired by a police sniper. The Cherokee County Attorney's Office has now completed its criminal liability review and determined that the fatal shot fired was not reckless, so the sniper will not be charged. A Missouri judge sentenced a man to life in prison without parole for the murder of a police officer. Authorities say in August 2017, Clinton, Missouri police officer Gary Michael pulled over a vehicle driven by Ian McCarthy. They say McCarthy then got out of his vehicle and shot Officer Michael with a high-powered rifle. Michael died from his injuries. McCarthy was caught after a 2-day manhunt. A jury convicted him but couldn't decide whether to sentence him to life in prison or to the death penalty. In that case, the judge decides, and McCarthy was given life in prison. Authorities in Montgomery County investigate an attempted homicide in Wayside, Kansas. The attempted homicide happened on September 9th around 7:30 p.m. Upon arrival, deputies located a male victim that had critical injuries, and the suspect was no longer on scene. The suspect was later located and taken into custody without further incident. Further details will become available as this investigation is ongoing. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, we're going to see scattered showers and thunderstorms increasing through the morning and into the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours. Looking at highs mid to upper 70s. No severe weather expected, which is great, just much needed rain. Scattered showers and storms hang with us through the evening and into the overnight. We go back to a pretty cool 60 degrees. A few isolated showers before 1 o'clock tomorrow. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, mid 70s. We're going to hang on to the 70s all the way through Sunday and look at those overnight lows back into the 50s across the area.
I can't believe it. We made it, Chris.
Yeah,
we survived the summer.
Slowly but surely, we're getting to fall.
All right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making California dreaming pasta toss in the Mr. Foodcast kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. As the nation marks the 9/11 attacks, there's a new approach to helping veterans of the war on terror. Ahead on CBS Mornings, we'll meet a former Special Operations Forces soldier who's turned his life around after struggling with a traumatic brain injury.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Laura Horton joins us back in studio to finish up her Dr. Pepper brownies.
Plus, Kevin Ostudovin from the Carl Junction Chamber of Commerce joins us in studio to talk about one of the really cool things they have upcoming. Lots of cool things, but the Bluegrass Festival. If you've never been, you should go.
Okay.
It is really cool.
I love bluegrass.
You've got to listen to Kavanaugh. She's going to tell you all about it. Really exciting festival they have every year up there in CJ. A great event, great times. Lots of fun things to do here in the 4 states. And that's the nice thing is as we get into fall, a lot more festivals, you're going to learn about all the cool stuff that goes on around
I'm ready for it all, Chris. Let's do it.
So many exciting things. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us for now on this exciting morning show. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.